All right, what's going on, everybody? Hey, week 5 is done. Week 6 is now coming up. It was a um, big weekend last weekend. A lot of good games, a lot of surprising games that kind of surprised me. I don't know about y'all. You got the Mississippi State and Texas. I think there was a total of what, like 6 overtime games total in college football this past weekend. Some craziness. Of course, you had the another good matchup between Georgia and Bama down in Athens. And so, just a quick refresher. We want to get into that Bama Georgia game real quick. What was y'all's thoughts coming out of that game?
Go ahead, Drew.
Man, Sean, I was right. I was so close to doing it with you right there, man. I was so close to putting on a Bama hat, a Bama shirt, Bama something, and come out here and repping my team, man. But to be honest with you, man, I felt like going into the game last week talking about it. I felt like that was what was going to happen. I didn't think it was really going to be that efficient in starting out the game. I thought it was going to be a little more slow to start, but I thought we would be in a place where if we came out not turning the ball over, not being penalized, not being the type of team where we just trip over our own feet, I think we could really put up points. 'Cause I think the talent we have on this team is extremely talented, which is why fast forward back to preseason predictions, why this team was predicted to be one of the teams that could be in the national championship just based off of talent level on this team. So to me, I think what we're looking at for this team is if Ty Simpson can go from being an average quarterback to being a great quarterback in this offense, I think that's game changer for this team. And I think that's what you saw in the first half against Georgia. Another thing against Georgia, Ryan Grubb in the offensive coordinator position, pulling out all the stops like last year. Not, I know he wasn't play call last year, but pulling out all the stops when it comes to the playbook in the first half that just had Georgia just so discombobulated to where it was easy to get first downs, easy to get down the field and things like that. So, Bama, hats off to what you did in the first half versus Georgia. But my concern is for the rest of the season is what happened in the second half. That momentum of the first half does not keep up in the second half. Georgia's a team that's always to me been about adjustments. Kirby Smart is a great coach about adjustments, so I knew there would be some type of pullback from Georgia in the second half. But to me, I just think Bama is a team that if you got to be so creative to win football games and really just to put up 20 points, that's not going to get it done. So I was close to eating the rat poison that came out of that Georgia game and feeling like that was going to be the team that's going to just win the rest of the season and just take it all the way. But I'm not completely sold yet. If a 10 is a sold and one is, I'm not even buying stock. I'm at like a 6.5, 7. I'm getting hotter week by week. But Bama to me is the storyline coming out of last week. And I think it has to be the same type of effect of last year saying, I'm glad that game didn't last another quarter.
Yeah, it looked very similar, but I'll tell you, I was impressed. Well, the one thing I did not think was going to translate was Ty Simpson's efficiency from playing the 2 games that he played against much lesser opponents, and then rolling into Athens and essentially doing it again.
Right.
Um, and when we think about this, we all know it's not just Ty Simpson that's making this happen. At one point in time, I think it might have been Herb Street or somebody who was commentating the game had just was talking about from bird's eye view how many Alabama receivers were just running around wide open in Georgia's secondary. You know what I'm saying? Now, we didn't get the chance to see all of that as the game was going on, but when he said it, I said to myself, okay, this is Ryan Grubb, this is Kalen DeBoer, this is Ty Simpson. This is kind of what they kind of wanted in their wide receiver core. You got 2 alphas in Williams and Bernard, and then you got a lot of interchangeable pieces that can that can really affect the game in a positive way. And yes, when these guys are on the same page, and like in the first half and like the past 2 games, and they look like world beaters. I still want to see more from the running game, but I'm still having to honestly tell myself this is not the same Alabama that ran the ball with Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram. The running game is different. This is not the same type of approach to moving the ball in short yardage type situations. So I thought it was an excellent game plan. I thought Ryan Grubb took a lot of chances. I think Kirby Smart messed up by not taking the points to tie the game.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen here, but what I'm not going to buy into is the fact that Kirby Smart has an Alabama problem. I just feel like Georgia has been so important to beat Alabama from the minute Kirby Smart left Tuscaloosa. Alabama beating Georgia became one of the most important things that Nick Saban could do in order if he was going to continue to win and move his career forward. Somehow Kalen DeBoer understood that exact same assignment, and they get up. I'm with you, Drew. I'm just not convinced yet that Alabama can do what they did against Georgia for the remainder of their SEC schedule. It's a risk. It's a rough road. They got a long way to go, and they're way up now because they beat Georgia. And you got Vandy coming to town next week. Yeah. This could absolutely, we talked about it last week, this could absolutely be a spoiler for Alabama next week. They're not out of the woods yet. They're not. Yeah. But kudos to them for doing what they did. But next week, they got to get ready next week. I want to see them do the same thing again next week, and I might move your 6 to maybe a 7.5, maybe, if they do it against Vanderbilt. But Vanderbilt don't play no defense, so we'll get to that. But
we'll get to that. Yeah, I got a lot to say about that game. Right. What'd you think about it, Van?
I kind of went into it and saw what we kind of expected or what we called. It was going to be which quarterback was more comfortable. And you saw from Ty Simpson now the confidence, and it was a lot of shakiness after that Florida State game, and it was the perfect time to have the lineup of games that Bama did at those times, where you could sit back, go to home, and kind of get a what am I trying to say? You get your confidence back, get your groove back, get everything going in the right direction. And when we talk about which quarterback was more comfortable in this game, I was looking at some guys who were looking at some film from this game, and I mean, Georgia had their opportunities to take shots down the field, but you had the point of where Gunnar Stockton was just rattled or shaken or seeing ghosts or taking off the run more so and quicker in that decision to get out of there and try to run than it was to sit in there and make that last second throw. But all in all, I think Georgia's had this problem for a little while now. If you go in and give your quarterback enough time, their secondary is not as great as it once was. And Tennessee exposed that in their game. And that was my first red flag for Georgia this season, where it was like, all right, they came out the gate in that Tennessee game blazing, where they throwing the ball all over the field, taking shots down the field. It was like, yeah, if you get the opportunities with this Bama offense to do that to Georgia, then you could be a real big mess. Now, looking at some of the plays from that game also, Bama won this game and still left stuff out there to be wanted on the field on the offensive side of the ball. You didn't run the ball extremely well, but you had some drop passes that were touchdown passes. You had open guys that had some incompletions. So when Drew, like what you said, you see the talent and what everybody talked about at the beginning of the year as to say, hey, this is still A1 type of team. The potential is all there. And we even said it a couple weeks ago. The talent is here. It's not that you don't have a talent deficiency when it comes to Bama right now. You've got a get it on the field type of mentality, have a game to game mindset of bringing your A game and saying, hey, we are still who we are, and let's go out there and impose our will on an opposing team. And I think this game we're going to discuss it in a little bit, but this Vandy game is really interesting to me because do you carry the Georgia mindset into a lesser opponent game and say, hey, we are going to go and we're not going to sit back like we thought Florida State happened. Like Florida, they went into the Florida State game. You can clearly see you got hit in the mouth early. Now, I'm shaking, and now I don't have time to get back into the game. Versus Georgia, came out the gate and was like, hey, we coming to bring the hurt to you. We are who we are. Y'all not better than us, so on and so forth. But you got to carry that mindset from game to game. And so it'll be really interesting to see how the beginning of this Vandy game this weekend looks from a mindset standpoint when it comes to Bama.
It will. And I think it's definitely going to be a mindset game for real. Go ahead, Drew.
So to answer your question, Sean, Kirby Smart and Georgia have a Bama problem. It is a true phenomenon in college football.
It's
I
wild.
think when you really think about it, if you're a historian in college football, if you're about, let's say about 35 and up, you really
Yeah.
understand the depths of history in this college football. This is a historic type of beatdown that Bama is giving Georgia specifically. So to me, I think in this game, Bama exposed Georgia in a lot of ways. That was, I think, when you think about Tennessee, the offensive scheme that they run can put players in a position where you have those type of games against Tennessee, where there's just so much one-on-one coverage. Tennessee takes advantage of it. But a position where Bama's not running guys straight line down the field, it's just getting a one-on-one matchup. They're really running crossers around the field and kind of mesh concepts to where it really picks apart zone defenses. So in that aspect, two things really got to work. You got to have receivers that know about getting in space when they're in a route and not just running the full route and thinking that it's going to be open like that. You got to know how to stop in space. And you also got an offensive line that keeps up the pass coverage for about 3 to 4 seconds, not more than 2 to 3 seconds that a lot of quarterbacks keep up to in college. But you got an offensive line that's keeping those things up. I'm shocked that Bama can't run the ball like that. I think getting Jam Miller back is going to really, really help that. And you saw that in that game if you really watched it. His aggressiveness and his run style is just going to really be effective against a lot of teams. But to me, I'm really shocked that Bama just cannot run the ball against teams. But the aspect of their passing game, two things. We gotta accept the fact that Ryan Williams is not the receiver number one. And he can't, I hate to even say the word can't, but he almost can't be. That first drop he had made me about punch my screen, my dang TV. I was so mad, not even just the fact that you dropped a touchdown. It's him that dropped it. And it's like, as a receiver, I'm like, I know guys that have like just a stick about them that they just can't catch the ball. Like there's something about them that they just cannot catch it. Like it's hard to catch a football.
Yeah.
You could be the fastest, you could be the strongest, you could be the tallest, but it's like I was talking about Nick Harbor a couple weeks ago, Van. It just seems like he just can't fully easily catch the ball.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams is too talented to drop balls like that. But I think no Diddy. When I think Javon Bernard, I think Bernard is the receiver he's the go-to. I think he's the
dog.
that comes up, and I haven't got his name down quite for number 17, the true freshman. I like him over Isaiah Horton. I'm like, you as a true freshman, he's just a dog. I'm like, you throw the ball near him, he's catching it, he's breaking tackles, he's getting on the field, and I love number 17 in Bama colors. I just don't know why I love that number, but he's a true dog. So Bama to me, potential-wise, is through the roof. But I don't know what it is. It just I'm watching that game and I'm like, I'm happy that we're winning and we're beating Georgia just because it's Georgia, but I don't see a national championship type team yet. I really don't even see an SEC championship type team yet. Because I think you got to figure out, to me, we got to survive injuries on defense and we got to get run game. We're not going to win true teams not having those two things.
Yeah, like I said, if I had to guess, because you can't watch practice, but if I had to guess, they probably spend 70% of their time in pass protection with the offensive line. Offensive line is very good. It's very, 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 very good. Ty Simpson is able to sit back there and pick you apart because he has talent and time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He got talent and time. I haven't seen him really under much duress. I mean,
yeah.
When you look at it from this perspective, you say to yourself, okay, go back and look at Washington and Michael Penix's production. I believe what we're going to see is a team that looks from a play calling perspective, just like Washington did in the national championship game 2 or 3 years ago with more talent.
Yeah,
with more
100%.
talent.
I think so as well too.
This is what you're going to see. Now, I think what we all know, because we're such SEC aficionados, if you will, you're going to have to be able to establish the actual run game at some particular point in time.
Right.
It's going to have to happen. And if you completely abandon it and decide you want Ty Simpson to be your running back and your quarterback and this and that or whatever, and screen passes are going to be your new run plays, then you'll get to the playoff, I believe, but you won't make it very far because the team whoever wins the daggone playoff is able to run the football. You're gonna have to be able to do it. So, but I like what I see. But the schedule just really the schedule. If anything, it's the schedule for me. It's not even the O line that's my biggest concern. It's the schedule. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have any control over that. They have to play it. I've heard all these people talk about some. Well, the hard games are at home. I get it, but they're still hard games. And if you're not, you know, man, and the other thing, it's almost like in that Georgia game, you know, we committed some penalties, but it was a very, very clean game. I mean, we played a very good football game against Georgia. I still don't know how good Georgia really is. I would like to see at the end of the year how good they really are. Same thing goes for Ole Miss. I'm kind of a believer in Vandy at the moment, but there's still a lot of question marks that I think we still need a few more weeks into this SEC slate to really kind of figure out. I thought I would know more than I know at this point in time in the season, but I'm still a little lost on a few teams. But I think that's what makes it great. I think that's where the parity is great in college football today. If this was a Big Ten podcast, I think we'd be having similar conversations.
Yeah.
No, I feel that, and I think with week 5 and week 6 slates, I think we got a lot of meat and potatoes to talk about on this podcast. So I think we definitely gotta for the fans, we gotta get more content out to talk about this stuff in depth. But I think when you really think about Bama's team, I don't think that we need to get to a point where we don't understand the situation we're in. Meaning in the aspect of, like you talk about when you think about abandoning the run game. Like, there's going to be games that we're going to face in this season that we're going to have to run the ball because we can't pass the ball. That's going to turn into a standpoint. I think that teams are like, well, we don't want to be the team that you get the run going against. So they're like, all right, let's make sure we can stop the run, which leaves this pass game opened up. And to me, I like Ty Simpson. I think he can be what they look at him as, but I don't think that you say, let you lead the boat. Let you be the captain of this ship. Like, let's say we got you in the bag for that, but let's rein you back to stay in the offense. Like, let's not be something that's going to become try to be a Heisman Trophy winner type quarterback. Like, we don't have to be that. You're going to be a first-round draft pick if you just follow this offense. That's got to be the storyline for him as a Bama offense. Mm-hmm. And I think, to me, if you transition the offense to saying that, you know what, we're not going to be a Ohio State offense where we're just focused on these main 2 receivers. We're just going to have a committee of receivers, maybe 4 to 5 guys that are just out there just dominating. You don't know who to guard. I think that is the key to success. Defense-wise, we got to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. We got to stay healthy and not be penalty heavy. That's the 2 biggest things. And I think getting into those situations, if you can still have that run game or truly find it, you're going to beat these big teams like Auburn, like Oklahoma, like LSU. Those teams like that, it's going to create you a real threat when it comes to getting to the playoffs, because it's a long season nowadays in college football. It's not going to be easy for Bama. I don't even care about talking about Georgia. To me, Georgia issues is you got a quarterback who is not experienced enough to go through a lot of these moments. And to me, you don't have no run game. And you 2 penalized, which 2 of those issues is a coaching problem to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think for Georgia, their season's still in front of them to make the playoffs and the SEC championship. Bama's 100% in front of them and win the SEC championship. And I'm sticking to the formula until it's get proven wrong. You got an opportunity to lose 1 non-conference game and 1 conference game.
They got 1 more they can lose.
Right. You got 1 more you can lose. That's why I say you cannot forget about the situation we're in. And I think that's it. You really got to understand that. Maybe next week after we do what we got to do with Vandy, I could put some paraphernalia on, wear my Bama stuff back on the show, because I might be happier then. I might be at 7.5 out of 10. But man, Bama right now, they just got to stay focused. That's my biggest thing. I've been on a roller coaster before, and I'm not getting on it this time. I'm not riding it. But
and what's so funny about it is, you know, I'm looking at the schedule now. 10 years ago, would we ever would have said Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina could potentially be problems? Wouldn't have said it. We wouldn't have said it 10 years ago. It wouldn't have even been a discussion. These are 4 W's. These are 4 W's easy. But
Yeah.
now these are all 4 games that we can actually lose. So I'm just, it's just crazy to me that we're where we are. But I think it's great for fans. And then after that, you got LSU, Oklahoma. I mean, you're not done. There's 6 games in front of Alabama that if they're not perfect, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I think to me, Auburn's laying eggs, but you still can't give up that game
you
because we
can't
got
give
none of
up.
them.
You can't give it up. It's that Jordan Hare, man. We play scared in Jordan Hare. It's like this thing could turn real fast. So I'm here for it.
I'll say this though. I'll say one thing I'm actually getting positive about. I've been saying it even at the Florida State game. I'm a fan of Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
I think his efficiency and the fact that, knock on wood, he don't turn the ball over.
True.
It's going to take this team a long, long way just with the quarterback position. I think for the past 2 years, watching number 4 be the quarterback, we have not had that confidence going into games like this.
Yeah.
Which for Vanderbilt, not getting there yet. I got one other thing we got to talk about before we get to Vanderbilt. For Vanderbilt teams, I think that it's going to shift the weight heavily.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But as a segue, real quick, before we get into this week's games currently, I think the biggest thing we got to talk about from last week is one of the biggest upsets in the SEC this season. When you think about LSU Tigers dropping the ball against Ole Miss. And we've been talking about Ole Miss peakingly. We really not have dived into what Ole Miss is. I think now is the perfect time to really talk about it. What y'all guys saw when y'all think about game y'all saw with LSU versus Ole Miss?
So to me, LSU has the offensive problem. And it's crazy that they keep going, they keep flip-flopping and they can't get both at the same time. Because this is a team where if LSU could ever figure out how to have as good of an offense as they do defense or good of a defense as they have offense, vice versa, because it's always every season is one or the other. It's never both at the same time. If they ever figure that out, it's gonna be a problem for everybody. I see the hype all day, every day. But you look at this game, and it's just in the crazy part to me about it is what is Lane Kiffin known for? And it's offense. You know, you can at least, if anything, bet on they gonna play okay defense, and you just gonna end up, if anything, getting into a shootout against them where you just gotta outscore his crazy offense that he's gonna draw up for you. And so you look at this game and it just looks you can't run the ball. There's no running attack whatsoever coming from LSU right now. You lose your running back for who knows how long now. Your top back who you found last season is now gone. And it seems like it's just you're wasting another year if you're LSU. You're just falling by the wayside. And I know everybody's gonna look at it and say, "Oh, we're still LSU," and then they'll turn around and have some wins, and they'll end up being one of those teams. And it seems like they're just falling into the same group that you normally will put Ole Miss in. As far as Ole Miss being one of those teams that have all the hype and the praise, and by the end of the season, they've lost a couple of games that they shouldn't have lost, and now you look at them and you're like, "Oh, well, they won some, and they lost a couple, and so on and so forth." But now you got to look at their schedule, and you got a bye week. And then you got a South Carolina, now a quote unquote confident South Carolina team coming to you. And then you got to go same situation we were just talking about with this SEC schedule. You got a South Carolina coming to you. You got to go to Vandy. A&M is coming. Bama's coming. Now you got the new Petrino style Arkansas that you got to deal with now, or whatever that's going to look like. I don't know what the fix is for LSU, and I really don't know what to think of. I don't know what type of team is going to take the field, but I've said it from the beginning of the season. You look at a team, give me 4 weeks, you know who you are. This is a team that offensively is not going to be very good this year. There's no switch that you can turn to flip it on. Whatever the issues are, the issue you got to deal with, you got to get it going. But against serviceable competition, you have not once this season scored more than 24 points with a Heisman contender, top 3, quote unquote, in the draft quarterback that you got under center.
Ain't gonna cut it. Ain't gonna cut
it. Yeah. So you go. I'm telling you right now, you floating around in the ball game, and we're gonna get into it next week when we record about South Carolina going down there. But you putting up 24 points. There's a lot of teams on this schedule that you got to play that are very comfortable with letting you get 24, and they gonna run you out the woodshed no matter how good that defense is playing. They saying, "Oh, you only gonna put 24 up. I can hang with you then." Now all it takes is a little field goal at the end of the game to go beat you, and we got you down pat. So it's an offensive problem that they got going on down at LSU, and it can go with this schedule, just like we said with Bama. It can go south very, very fast.
Yeah, and I don't, I've been on here candidly as a fan of Brian Kelly, and he's slowly but surely making me raise my foot up to my mouth every game. But I'm with y'all. I don't get why they can't put it all together. I mean, I think they're paying their defensive coordinator about $3 million a year, and the defense looks great. All right, it's fine. It's fine. We had the offense figured out a couple years ago, but you can't tell me that, just because you had a generational talent, you had a good offense. You know what I'm saying? There are players down there. There's talent down there. Like you said, we're talking about a kid that's talked about being like you said, the first quarterback taken off the board. How are we this bad on offense? And that's all Brian Kelly. You know what I'm saying? It's all Brian Kelly. I believe the thing that's being talked about right now down there at LSU, he is, believe it or not, his seat is heating up. The issue is the buyout, and the other issue is because I think LSU fans and alumni and boosters, everyone realizes that Brian Kelly is not the guy. I think that has been figured out from a culture perspective. I don't think that they like him. They don't like the way he deals with the media. They don't like, he's just, he doesn't make excuses. He's cool with saying we got to do better, but I don't think LSU faithful is cool with we got to do better year after year after year after year. You know what I'm saying?
Like, when you can't do better, it gets exposed.
Correct. You know what I'm saying? So that's where Brian Kelly is right now, and that's where LSU is right now. And then what happens is you start forcing it. You go to your offensive coordinator that's currently on the books. You say, hey, we got to do more. Well, now he starts pressing, doing things that they really may not be good at or really can't do right now, and it looks even worse. I think it's a downward spiral, and I think Brian Kelly is actually on his way out the door. I just don't understand how you could be so pedestrian with one team on defense, and then you fix the defense the next year with one hire, but then the offense looks bad. But it's been that every year he's been there. This is what it's been. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting this squarely on Brian Kelly. I think that's my Ole Miss part. I'm sorry, my LSU part. I think Ole Miss is dealing with the fact that Lane Kiffin is maturing a little bit as a coach. I'm watching him coach football games and with the headset on his head, approach the game like a Nick Saban. Like I said, he'll never get there, but he coached under Saban so many years. If he figures out how to just manage the game and not take too many risks, quit going for it on fourth down as often as he used to go for it on fourth down, and just coach a football game, I think you'll see results. I think that's what he got. I think that Lane Kiffin, his eyeballs, his ability to identify quarterbacks, even from Division II. This kid gets two plays, won this game for Ole Miss. And Trinidad Chambliss was responsible for both of these plays occurring. The kid is smarter than you think he should be. He's faster than you think he should be. His IQ is better than I think everyone thinks it should be. And I'm asking myself, how did this guy get stuck in Division II? Like, I want to know a little bit more about this kid, because Lane Kiffin saw something in this guy. And I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman. He's small. I mean, he's effective, but Lane Kiffin knows how to recruit to his system. And when he figures out how to be a better coach, a better head football coach, which we may be seeing right now, you may be seeing the best version of Lane Kiffin that you're going to, we're working our way toward that. And I think that's a very positive thing for Ole Miss. And if Lane Kiffin is going to continue to coach like this and recruit like this and evaluate talent like this, watch out. Lane is building something special to Ole Miss. He's going to get some phone calls as big jobs open up. As long as he continues to mature. I think the world's ahead of Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, man. I think they got just as good a chance as Bama, anybody else in the Southeastern Conference right now to represent the SEC as champion at the end of this year. Ole Miss, they could very well do it if they continue to play mature football and the coaching staff continue to coach like adults. Ole Miss can do it.
I'm right there with you. I'm gonna talk about Ole Miss in a second. First and foremost, I got to rip one for LSU. I got to really test these waters real quick. And I want y'all opinion on this. Van, you said as LSU, we got a true offensive problem. I challenge that and say we got a team problem. Sean, you said LSU's got a good defense. I challenge that and say we really ain't got a good defense. Let's really look at it. Let's really look at it. Clemson is trash.
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana Tech, you did what you're supposed to do, and you still only scored 23. Florida gave you 5 picks. I really want to go back and count the number of offensive possessions LSU had against Florida. Because that, to me, says more about what your defense did, is what your offense couldn't do against Florida. So that's 3 games right there that show that, all right, cool, we really not there yet. Then you face Southeastern Louisiana, if I'm even guessing what the SE stands for, just guessing right there. We hold y'all to 10, we scored 56. To me, that's exactly what a game like that's supposed to look like. So when we get to Ole Miss, I'm really questioning the team I saw last year versus the team we have in front of us. And to me, Van, when you think about this team and Brian Kelly, I don't think Brian Kelly has any offensive brain to him. So to me, when I think about what I look at when this team is, I'm depending on talent. LSU is wide receiver you. No, you're not. Because these wide receivers we got aren't making the plays we need them to make. When they get the ball, yes, they can make plays in the open field, but we got to get them the ball. Cornerbacks on the defensive side of the ball. I was really watching their games, and I was like, cornerbacks are putting seatbelts on people. Until I saw them holding every single body at Ole Miss. But you're holding every other receiver. You're getting defensive pass interference calls that are changing the way this game looks. And to me, you have not solved the running quarterback issue. The way that quarterback destroyed you is a problem.
It's a serious problem.
Because I think he has potential to be great in a college football level. I'm like you, Sean. He is small. He's young. I don't know if he can continue this for all 2 more seasons with Lane Kiffin as a head coach, but it's one of those question marks of you just stole the starting job. That's gone from the other buddy.
I
don't know what we're talking about. And somebody questioning him saying that he might be a Heisman candidate. You're on the bench. You're probably going to enter the transfer portal in the next 2 weeks.
There it is.
That's probably what it's going to be for Ole Miss's quarterback situation. But to me, LSU just has a historic problem when it comes to their offense right now. And I think one thing when you think about college football, when you have a defense problem, you can overcome that with a good offense. But when you have a true offensive problem, you're not going to overcome that. It's not just going to snap his finger and it's going to change. You're going to start scoring from 18 to 23 points to 40 points against certain teams and certain shootout type games where you're going to do it. They shoot themselves in the foot too much. They get egotistic too much, and they depend on talent too much. It's a problem for LSU. And what's going to be a problem, Van, they got a week to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's not enough time.
They got a week to fix it. Because South Carolina, if you lose to South Carolina in your own crib, I don't think they announced the time of that game yet.
They got like 3 different times set.
I see between 3:30, 4:30, and 8 p.m.
No. It's the night slate now, so we know it's going to be even. So it's like 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, or 8:15.
I'll say in a bold statement, we can revisit this. We can clock this. We can come back to it and what we ever say. You lose to South Carolina, you're losing to Vandy.
And I'm gonna tell you something real quick.
You're losing to Vandy, and that is the end of the Brian Kelly era.
That is it.
I'm telling you right now,
That's it.
keep your eye open for this South Carolina game. So I was at the game. South Carolina done figured out how to play football a little bit. They know it. They figured out what to do to make this offense work. They can't run it,
Yeah.
but that was the first time. I said it a couple of podcasts ago that I have not seen the aggressiveness from Lenore Sellers running the ball like I have seen the past, like last season. I saw it once in the fourth quarter against Virginia Tech. Have not seen it since then. It was just a way he played this past Saturday was like, all right, I know I got to be the guy. I'm taking off. I'll be the running game. And
But he
that's
gonna give LSU fits. He gonna give LSU hell.
he
And
gave him fits last year. If
I
he
don't think he
did,
can do it to the level of what Trinidad did.
yeah,
I think he can go
It's gonna
to
be tough.
passing,
I'm telling you
blazing
right
pressure.
now. I'm telling you right now because we South Carolina would have beat LSU last season if he didn't get hurt at half.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think you have the
100%.
same type of offense, minus Rocket Sanders, but the same aggressiveness. And now you're putting on film that the Lenoris is running the ball more. That ain't gonna do nothing but open up everybody else. Because what happened against Virginia Tech when they tried to shut down Lenoris? Oh, now you got Nick Harbor one on one. Nobody jamming them. Oh, now I just got to throw a go ball. Oh, you done got Redravius Jacobs going now in the receiver room. Oh, now you got these tight ends going. I'm talking about they look like a team that finally got their confidence back. And going into the bye with a win, a confident win, versus a team that's coming off of a bad road loss. Those two different dynamics to go into the bye week on. And these two teams getting ready to face off next Saturday. It's going to be interesting. But like I said, I don't want to dive too deep into that game. We got a whole another week before we get into it. But that's just, it's a red alert. That's what it is. It's the red flag for LSU to say, hey, after this bye, your schedule gets pretty doggone crazy. It's a short time. You got to fix something because
Well, I don't think it's going to get fixed.
It's
And I
not.
think you're really trying to depend on, as LSU, you're trying to depend on a so-called Heisman candidate quarterback, and you don't have a run game.
you don't have no help. Yeah, exactly.
You don't have no run game. So to me, I think the offensive line issues with offensive line injuries is just going to make it worse. It's just going to make it worse. And I think Nussmeier is the guy. And I think he solved a lot of the turnover issues he had from last year. But I think he is a guy in pressure moments. He'll just throw it.
Yeah.
He would just throw it, and you could just see it in his face. He'll just throw it and say, you know what? I think my guy's better than yours. And that's not always the case.
Yeah. And Drew, they had the ball 11 times against Florida in that Florida game.
That's ridiculous. And you only score.
You had it seven times in the first half. You had the ball.
And it's sad. That's sad.
Well, and you know what it reminds me of, and I don't know if we're ready for a segue, but another team in this conference that, to me, outside of schedule, I think it's the same team. Maybe not the same team, but close. Is Texas A&M. Okay. I'm not sold.
Yeah,
I'm not sold. I'm not sold. Now, the one thing A&M has in their favor, and I hate this for them, is the daggum schedule. You look at their schedule, they have winnable games all the way throughout, but I don't think they're that good. And this past weekend, the reason why I'm saying this, y'all, here's the reason why I'm saying it. They played Auburn. And we didn't know who Auburn was, but I think what we realized is, or what I realized is Auburn is not good. Auburn's not good. Auburn, and I did the same dance with Hugh Freeze or Brian Kelly. I'm a Hugh Freeze fan, but he is sucking it up. Hugh Freeze runs a version of that Gus Malzahn offense, right? It was really good 10 years ago when folks were trying to figure out the motions and all this and that or whatever. It's not so good right now. Auburn they're committing so many penalties. They're starting drives like 1st and 15, 1st and 20. So many penalties. They are, I think, in the past 2 games, 3 for 28 on 3rd down. Auburn is actually playing terrible football right now.
Damn.
It's just terrible.
They were over 13.
Yeah. Oh, 4.
Or 4. That's
right. And when I look at Texas A&M, again, I'm not going to spend too much time on A&M or Auburn because I don't think either one of them are worth the hype. But they just got A&M ranked so high right now because of whatever. But look at what A&M has done on the schedule so far. It has not been that impressive, and you barely beat Auburn, who actually sucks. Now, with all that being said, you got Mississippi State, which I personally feel like they're going to lose this game. I'm not making a prediction. We're just talking. But I do think Mississippi State is going to sneak up and beat A&M and put them where they need to be. But after that, A&M goes undefeated all the way to Carolina, right? If they happen to beat Carolina, I believe they could lose to Texas and still have a chance to get in because of who they are. I think A&M is this year's version of last year's Illinois, who just seemingly because of their schedule, they got there. But they're in the SEC. They did play an SEC schedule. They won the games they were supposed to win, but I do not think A&M is who the media and everybody is trying to paint them out to be. They're not that good. And that's just my blanket statement about A&M. That's it.
Yeah, I think A&M, my blank statement about A&M, I think they're going to lose too many late games to really get in. I think the only way they have a chance to get in is to win the conference championship. And I think they're going to be in consideration like they were last year. Like, you got to have a loss win in a certain situation to get in just because of strength of schedule. But I think strength of schedule is tough. Once you get past Mississippi, once you get past Florida, to go through that slate of LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, easy, Texas.
Right.
If you lose 2 of those 5, I mean,
you're out. You're done.
Yeah, you're done. I think if you don't have no pass game like what we saw against Auburn, you're out anyway.
Right.
You gotta be balanced in the SEC, and that's just the true fact about it is I don't care how good your defense is. You're going to get to a moment. I don't care who the moment is. It could be against the sorriest team. You're going to get to a moment where everything starts to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And what's truly going to get out of you having a balanced attack where you keep teams honest, where they can't just gang up on you. And Texas A&M, same as Auburn, hasn't found that answer yet.
They've not.
So I have more potential for Texas A&M than I do Auburn, man. Auburn.
Yeah. Complete disappointment. And I think after this season, Hugh Freeze is squarely on the hot seat. Pittman's already gone. I think we got a couple more cats that's going to be on that hot seat. The guy at Kentucky, Stoops, is going to be on the hot seat, maybe gone. Like I said, a lot of changes in the conference, much needed changes in the conference for some of these schools. I believe Kentucky can do better than what Mark Stoops is giving them right now, but this ain't even a Kentucky conversation.
Yeah. Hey, well, I'll tell you this, though. Week 5 was, to me, is going to play a big mark 3 to 5 weeks from now. When you look back at certain losses, certain wins that happened in that week, I think it's going to be huge. But when you transition to week 6, man, I want to just give a round of applause. In fact, we made it to October. October, man. Before we get into
wait no week, give it a week.
I know, right? Before we get into this week's games, you got any wrap-up points you want to say about week 5 real quick?
Nah.
Mississippi State. All right, I'm gonna just say another blanket statement. They're better than you think they are. And I'm expecting an upset this week from Mississippi State. Mississippi State is gonna lay the wood. Mississippi State, keep your eyes open.
Hey, I thought it was gonna have it against Tennessee. I'll say that. I thought so. I was like, man, look, I said it, and as soon as I said it, I wish I could just unsend that text because I was like, well, I think I jinxed them. And I was like, man, I feel like it's gonna turn the tide, and Tennessee's gonna be an interesting team with their schedule and what they're gonna do. But Mississippi State, man, and you said it last year, Sean.
Yes, the staff.
Last year. I think that the transfer portal is gonna be so key once we figured out how to get a control on it. But a lot of these guys have strategic moves instead of just money moves or hype moves.
Grabbing who they can.
Go to a team that's developing guys and developing a concept that can beat teams. Because Mississippi State has a formula working.
Yep.
They are working. I don't know if they're going to be. It's the same thing I feel about Vanderbilt.
Right. They kind of in the same place.
This will be our transition.
They kind of in the same place.
I feel about Vanderbilt in the aspect of I feel like you got everything you need right now. I just don't know if you're going to have it for long enough.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. I'm like, bro, if they go up against a team like LSU, if they go up against a team like you said this week, Texas A&M, they could really upset a team and sneak a win. I thought they were gonna do it against Tennessee. And I think if they would have did it against Tennessee, they would have woke everybody else up in the schedule.
Right.
They're gonna get somebody.
They're gonna get somebody.
They're gonna get somebody. And it better not be no team that plays in Tuscaloosa. I know that for sure.
Right.
I don't even know if we played them this year, but the way we have been the last couple of seasons, we're losing that game.
Yeah. But Mississippi State, they are gonna get somebody. And like I say, Vandy's not done.
Yeah.
I think they kind of cut from that same kind of cloth, different system, different mentality from a coaching perspective. You're getting the kids that do what you want to get done in the building. They listening, they paying attention in film study and practice. Everything's looking good, talented. Hey, I'm digging. I love the parody.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you got anything about week 5 you want to touch up on before we head to week 6?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, I'm closed down on that.
I think, man, starting October, we're at that point in the SEC schedule where you do have less games because you get to a bye week part of the season, like a 2 to 3 week period. But bro, we got some heavy hitters coming this week that's going to define the SEC schedule, and I think that this is going to be a fun week when it comes to what's the outcomes going to be for the rest of the season. Real quick, I want to touch on this game just to throw a little spin on things real quick for y'all. Let's talk about this Florida-Texas game real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you touched on in the pre-conversation before we actually went live about this could be a situation down in Gainesville. What you think about it, y'all? What you think about it?
Hey, all I'm gonna say is we're at it happened last year, and not this game, but when in regards to Florida, you get to certain points of the season and certain contests where you're like, I'm throwing the towel in on Florida, and I am. I think Napier is the next guy that's gonna be let go out of the SEC. I'm on that ship right now. I think you look at their schedule, you look at how the team's playing, so on and so forth. Lagway's back in the boot again, or so on and so forth. You. I'm just saying, for whatever the case may be, and it might be this game, it might be against A&M, it might be whoever they playing down the road, but Florida finds a way somehow to slip up and win a game they're not supposed to do.
Yep.
And I get all the rah-rah with Texas and, Arch getting his groove back and, trucking people through the end zone and flexing on them and without realizing it's Sam Houston. It's Sam Houston. That's the team that y'all supposedly got y'all mojo back on. Your first real test was against Ohio State. It's the first game of the season. Well, blase. You look horrible as a team. You had San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston as your next ones. Now you're going up against big boys. Florida is still a SEC school. This is SEC recruits, SEC talent, SEC caliber opponent. This is your bread and butter. Don't go down there to Gainesville and lose this game. That's all I'm saying. You talk about the Heat getting turned up. I don't think they'll get rid of the coach. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying, and you'll hear the whispers of, Arch he ain't ready, and then Sean, you got another guy behind him that
he ready.
Is a guy and ready. I'm telling you right now, it's just
ready.
There's a game that's under the radar, just have something on the background, so on and so forth. Turn this Florida-Texas game on. If it's close in the second quarter or if it's close at halftime or third quarter, hey, don't let Florida win this game in Gainesville. If you are Texas, don't let it happen. Mm-hmm. Don't let it happen. Florida, it don't matter. You should be out there playing free because your coach goes a couple weeks anyway. Your schedule is brutal. You're not gonna survive. Mm-hmm. But that's my game this week. Yeah. I'm like, hey, pay attention.
And look, those are all the reasons why Florida could win this game, playing free, right? Billy Napier has zero stress on him in this game. He's supposed to lose it, right? Mm-hmm. He's supposed to lose it. He did it last year, surprised everybody. I'm not saying it's going to happen this weekend, but with Texas not knowing who they are currently, I'm not saying Florida know who they are either. But it's like a toss-up game to me. I mean, what they talking about?
The line is 6.5.
Right, 6.5, and that's crazy. That's crazy
That's crazy. That's why I'm looking at it like,
right.
yeah.
It's like So it absolutely would not be a situation to where if Texas loses this game, I promise you, Arch takes a seat and KJ Lacey comes in to play quarterback. That's Sark's that's the only way that he could try to resurrect a loss or losing in this game. I wouldn't even be surprised if the dude didn't take some snaps in this game at some particular point in time. Because I believe Sark he needs an opportunity to see what this kid could do against not top, but against top competition. Playing the backup quarterback against Sam Houston State, all that's all well and good or whatever. But this kid is a baller. He's a baller. He can go, and Sark knows this. But Arch is the future.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's such a tough.
Hey, Sark is in a very difficult position right now. His life would be very easy if Arch was playing like Ty Simpson right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He would not have to worry about going to sleep at night. But he's having a hard time in Austin going to bed at night because of his quarterback situation. But I don't believe in Florida at all, and I honestly currently don't even believe in Texas. So, man, this is going to be a game that I'm definitely going to have on the back button, going back and forth to watching. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida was not up 14-10 somewhere in the midst of the second quarter, and when you get into the third quarter, 21-13 Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll tell you real quick what this game reminds me of last season when Ole Miss went to Gainesville. And Ole Miss and Lane let them hang around, and the crowd got into it because it's still the swamp.
It's still the swamp.
They gonna be packed out in there.
Yeah.
This is what it reminds me of. And Ole Miss let them hang around. The defense got a little confident. The crowd started getting into it. You end yourself in that situation.
So let's look forward to this kind of game between Texas and Florida. I believe this is gonna be one that we're gonna need to have eyeballs on.
They're lucky Bama Vanderbilt play at 3:30.
Right. Yes.
Otherwise, this will be main TV.
Hey, you got the split. If you got the ESPN app, you got the split view. You can put them side by side now.
No. I get one. Bama is prime time, no split,
full screen. They get the whole treatment.
I know how you is with Carolina games on TV. This Bama ain't splitting nothing on nobody. I might have my phone. I might have Florida Texas on my phone watching a little peeking here and there, but trust me.
Just look. This is one of the games where you just look at your phone. Let me see what the score is real quick.
I'll say this. Before we talked about this game today for the pre-conversation, I ain't even had this game on my radar. Now that I'm really thinking about this game, two things are at stake. A coaching job for Florida and a coaching job for Texas. You cannot lose this game.
He ain't done nothing yet.
You cannot, Sean. I'm telling you, you cannot lose this game because of this. I'll tell you this. And I think I've been watching some film on your boy that's a backup to Texas.
Yeah.
I've been watching some film. He's that guy, but he's got to go. He's got to transfer. He's got to go.
He needs to play.
Arch is in this seat for 2 seasons.
Right.
And I think it is asinine if he benches Arch Manning.
That'd think it's crazy.
You have to win a national championship if you do that change.
You do.
You can't make this change and then
have a regular
first round, get to the second round and lose a game. You cannot. It is too detrimental. You got to ride this Arch train until he's drafted.
Yeah.
Which is what Bama had to do with Jalen Milroe.
With Jalen, right? Yeah. Hey, and I hate
to sit there for 2 years and say, this is the guy. We're going to see where he takes us and what happens. And this is going to be his make or break game.
Yeah.
And I think when you get to the 4-week season, 5-week season, you've had 4 solid games you can play, Van. You like this point. We had a even number of games we can see whether you passed or failed. And I'll truly debate anybody in this country. Bring your mama to the table. Texas has failed the first 4 games.
They have.
You know his numbers against UTEP?
They failed the first 4 games. He failed that game against UTEP.
Failed. 11 for 25, 114 yards.
Bro.
Touchdown and an interception. 30 QB yards.
And you can't tell me he was not prepared for the game. You can't tell me he was not prepared. Sark did not have him and prepared for that game.
You know what's so crazy about that game? I put money on his ass. He got there and he did that, and I put some real money on him. I said, you know what? This is easy. This is UTEP. And you went at some point in that game, you went 0 for 10. Bro, you have got to sit down. You got to show me a lot versus Florida. Florida, to me, if they play as sorry as they've been playing all season, they're going to be in a field goal chance of this game, fam.
Yeah.
If they have any type of true motivation of coming off of the start of their season in this game, I think this might be a slide for Texas. I think they might get beat by 2 to 3 touchdowns.
Look.
Arch looks horrible.
He looks terrible. And look, Sark is a great play caller with an above average quarterback under center.
Right, 100%.
Right? You know what I'm saying? He's really, really good because he's going to always have the other pieces around. But the quarterback, he's always had a really good quarterback. And if Arch is not that guy, he can't dial up the stuff. And now listen, and Sark is also predictable. He's almost Gus Malzahn-ish in how he calls plays and how his offense works. If you're working with an average quarterback in the offense that Sark runs, it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work. You know, you got some coaches can do great things with average talent. Other coaches have to have superior talent to do what they do.
Yeah.
Sark needs a great quarterback to do what he does. And you saw with Quinn Ewers, he failed last year because he wasn't good enough for the system.
Yeah.
He was always
now we finding out why we couldn't go away from Quinn.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we know why we
couldn't. The game.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't put Arch in the game. And at the same time, we kind of I can't take out Arch. I can't take him out the game at this point.
Right. Well, listen, I'm gonna drop some knowledge on y'all real quick. I don't know if y'all remember when Texas went to Alabama, and this is a Sark thing. We realized that Ewers did not have a strong arm when he threw that touchdown pass, and it was an amazing pass. It was an amazing catch because the receiver was running and basically was tracking the ball over his head like this and caught it here, right? But one thing that quarterback coaches do for kids that don't have strong enough arms is they tell them to throw the ball earlier, but put more air under the ball. And the receiver will get to it. So basically, when you get the ball in your hand, pop, you go ahead and let it go. Right. You go ahead and let it go, but throw it up in the air. And that's what Ewers did. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Ewers does not have the strongest arm in the world. That's why he's where he is now. Because he's a good quarterback. I'm not knocking Quinn Ewers. He was great at Texas, did great things for the University of Texas. But I think Manning may have a stronger arm, but he's less skilled than Ewers. I think if Sark could have combined Ewers and Manning, he may have had the guy he needs to run his offense. But he's got two different guys, or had two different guys.
Anything with Manning involved is not it.
It's not working. It's not working. But look, Sark is a smart enough coach to where he can work around this stuff. But I just don't know if it's going to happen with Manning because you cannot be inaccurate and make it work.
Well, two things, not just inaccurate. We can't be inaccurate and scared.
Right.
We can't be both. I can deal with a quarterback that's inaccurate. But if you got the confidence to be like, you know what? I can be like how Lane Kiffin was with Bama when it came to him just telling the quarterback, you're throwing it to this receiver because it's going to be open.
Right.
I'm truly seeing Arch miss guys down the field that are open.
Right.
It might not be like your play broken open on defense, but you're in a span of you got the guy beat by like 5 to 3 yards.
Yeah.
You got a span of space of 10 yards space around the guy where you can put a ball on the money and put it in the spot. But Arch is scared to make these throws. Or he doesn't see him, and both are terrible situations.
That's terrible.
So to me, as this game when it comes to Florida, you got to produce.
Mm-hmm.
You got to produce.
And
Florida's going to score. Florida's going to score at least 20.
Yeah. And they may not score
at least 20. Can Texas score 20 against Florida? That needs to be clip
In
some.
the swamp. In the swamp. Listen,
In the swamp. In the
let's
swamp,
see.
for real, man. Arch, I got an F on him, and I hate to say that because I said in the clip he's gonna be the best player in the country this season, and he might not be best player on his team, best player in the. I don't even know. Just go back and sit on the bench for a little while. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know what you
got.
think, but it ain't gonna happen. They're gonna force him to play, and we're gonna see what happens. But Texas, Florida, a game to watch. I don't think it's gonna be the game of the week, but the talk of the country right now is little old Vanderbilt versus Alabama.
Yep.
Little old Vandy coming down
We
to
are.
Tuscaloosa, and they got a quarterback that loves to talk some trash. And loves to talk some trash, man. I got a lot to say about this game right here. I really want to know y'all's 2 point perspective for I'm not gonna say like a long perspective, but I got some important stuff to talk about when it comes to this game. Because it's
Well,
been a season time.
I'll keep it short. I think Vanderbilt's 5-0 for the first time in 80 years. Right, 80 years. That says a lot. Vanderbilt has a fearless quarterback and a fearless coach. I the I went back before this podcast and I went and I looked at Vanderbilt wholeheartedly and I looked at their scheme on defensively. I think I understand who they are on offense. They're going to put their mind, body, and soul behind Diego Pablo, and he's going to lead them wherever they're going to go offensively in this game. Not just a game, but every game they play this season. He is their leader, and I love the fact that he has established himself as the leader. This is what this version of Vanderbilt is all about: leadership, toughness, playing clean football, this and that. But the one thing, this is a mismatch problem for This game's a mismatch problem for Vanderbilt. The one thing that they have the biggest problem defending is the thing that Bama does best, and that's throwing the football. Vanderbilt, they have a hard time generating pass rush. They let Utah State score 35 on them. They're going to score. I'm going to give Vanderbilt 24 points in this game. And it's going to come against an Alabama defense. I believe that's going to be playing some pretty good defense at home. I think Vanderbilt is that good to where they're going to be able to put these points up. But I think their defense is going to sorely disappoint them this weekend. And it's going to be like one of those slow deaths. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you burning or drowning. I don't know which one is worse. I would probably say burning. But I think Vanderbilt will probably feel like this on defense because they're not going to be able to figure it out. And even if they do figure it out, I think this is where their talent level versus the fact that Alabama has actually figured out what they want to be and what they want to do on offense with those mesh concepts and those crossers and getting these receivers in space and things of that nature. This is where Vanderbilt actually struggles. So unless they can fix that in 4 days, or unless they've got that fixed right this second, right now, and Alabama does nothing but the exact same thing they've done in the past 3 games, does Vanderbilt have a shot? But we all know that's not going to happen. I believe DeBoer and Grubb, they have more up their sleeves. They've been working on more things. They're bringing more things to the table. And I think they've understood, or they understand, that Vanderbilt is who they are on defense. Right now, the one thing Alabama cannot do, what they did last year, was commit turnovers and penalties. If you go and you want to play this same game, and you have more advantages this year than you had last year. Now, granted, there's a different guy pulling the trigger on offense at quarterback that was responsible for some of these turnovers. But, if you want to play that game, you're going to let Vanderbilt back in here, and they're going to be walking your goddamn goalpost out of Tuscaloosa into the daggum, what river is that? Black Warrior River down the road, right? And that's one thing cannot happen. I'll take this. I'll throw it. I'll leave. I don't know where I'm going to go after that if this happens again. But I will be gone, and I won't come back. I will not come back.
I hear you. All right, real quick. I'm gonna give you my spiel, and then Drew, I'm gonna let you do what you got to do. In this game, I honestly I've seen Vandy and I've paid more attention to them after their game in Carolina. And I agree with you, Sean, when it comes to the defense. You're going to be able to pass the ball against this defense.
Mhm.
Carolina did it. It was welcome. This was they when they came to play Carolina. This before Carolina. I just figured out how to play football this season and knew who they wanted to be. They kept trying to run the ball up the middle every first down, so on and so forth. Let that go. Use play action. Get on the run. You're going to be able to throw the ball and you're going to be able to score. What I've seen, and this is what happened against when Vandy played Utah State, same thing is don't what Vandy wants to do is control the clock. And we just talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Another thing, what you cannot do, and what they want to do is they want to have Diego or one of their running backs average a little more than 3 yards per play when they running the ball. Because if they do that, they can end up in a third and short situation, and then they already gonna milk the clock down. And now I only got 2 yards to go to get a first. Boom, I'll milk the clock and just do the exact same thing. They're not gonna take a lot of shots down the field. There's gonna be a lot of just dump offs. There's gonna be a lot of pick and pop, take what I can get, so on and so forth. What Carolina did successfully in their game and what Utah State did successfully was stop them on first down, put them into passing situations and make
Mhm.
Diego Pavia be a true passer of the football. Secondly, what you got to do is when you go against Diego, he's going to try to do probably 5 to 7 of these miraculous miracle. I'm just going to throw the ball sideways back over to the middle of the field. I'm running to my left, but I'm throwing back to my right. I'm lateraling it at the last second on my way down. He's going to try to make 5 or 7 of those type of plays.
Mhm.
You have to keep those. If you stop him, they're going to be turnovers. The ball is going to be on the ground, and then boom, you get interceptions or it's going to be a fumble. Take it back. I think when you look at them this season, they haven't played hardly anything tough on the road besides coming to Carolina. If you look at the first half against Carolina, they had it. It's a 14-7 game ball game at Carolina on the road. And you could tell when the crowd got into it, their defense was kind of shaky and the offense had their moments where we had them going 3 and out. We had them going 3 and out. We had them stopped before the 50-yard line, so on and so forth. So can they go on the road? I don't think they can. I think this is when they come back down to earth. All the talk is like, all right, I think it's gonna be one of those situations like a couple years ago when they went to talking about we gotta play Bama and Bama's gotta play us and this and that and that and this, and then boom, you end up in a situation. Now with Bama, and I mentioned it earlier, Bama has to go into this ball game with the same mentality that they went into the Georgia ball game with. You cannot go game by game saying this is a lesser opponent. I don't have to try as hard. And it's the coaches to get them in that mindset to say, hey, I need y'all. I gotta have y'all ready. The scheme is
Mhm.
here. This is where I need the effort at, so on and so forth. You got to treat every week the same, and they've been doing that ever since they lost to Florida State. When they lost to Florida State, you saw the sideline interaction. You saw the coaches, so on and so forth. But then you saw every game, no matter who the opponent was, they came out swinging, full fledged. Ty Simpson's chucking the ball around, all of that. You have the recipes for success in this ball game, and I got Bama winning this one big. I think it's going to be one of those games where you have Diego, you get the camera's going to be on him all game anyway. It's going to be on him when he's sitting on the bench looking dumbfounded that what the hell is going on? Where am I at? Type
Mhm.
of situation. I got that being this type of ball game.
Yeah.
I don't got them going north of 17 points in this ball game. I think Bama's mad as they should be, but I think it's going to be focused aggression. I think they coming out with a purpose to prove that we gonna remind you what conference you playing in and how tough it is to play on the road, so on and so forth. Because I tell you this now, and I can't go back in time, and I ain't gonna dwell on it. South Carolina was gonna beat them in Willie B that night, depending on how that first half looked before the magical concussion happened, and it happens every year with it's 2 years in a row. In week 3, we done lost the North, but
So
on and so forth. But yeah, I got 17 Vandy. Give me 34, 35 Bama.
30s for sure. Definitely 30s.
Yeah.
Easy
I,
30.
I think it's going to be one of those games where about halftime you looking at it like, oh yeah, we could have went and got another touchdown before half, but we ran the ball and let's take it to half and then we'll come back out and do it again in the second half. I think it's going to
Mhm.
be one of those ball games. It feels like it. From
Yeah.
the talk, everything like that. You've heard crickets from Bama. All you hear is Vandy talking, people online. I ain't never seen so many. I'm proud of them. They on Twitter
Yeah.
going crazy. They talking wild and all this and that. I didn't know they had fans like that. I love it. I'm proud of it. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the SEC trash talk party.
Yep.
But you about to get reminded real quick of who you playing against
Yeah.
this Saturday, 3:30 in the primetime slot on ABC. It's gonna be it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm gonna challenge both of y'all.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's gonna be no blowout.
You done did this 2 weeks in a row now because you did it with Georgia too.
I don't think it's gonna be no blowout. I don't. I think Bama is not gonna be able to get off the field like it was last year. I don't. I just truly don't. I think one thing that is very apparent, and I saw this in week 1. I don't know if we can stop a running quarterback. And I think that could be something that is a huge issue for this team if they feel like they got to bring a safety down into the box. I think that's an issue for this team. If they're going 3 down linemen against this team, I think that's an issue versus Vanderbilt. I think we're playing into what Vanderbilt wants in this team. I think they want a team. I think Vanderbilt wants to succeed in 3 areas of this team. Of this game. I think they overall want to have more rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to win the turnover battle, and I think they want to win the possession battle. The only thing I think in those 3 categories they can't win is the turnover battle. I have confidence in our defense that we can get an interception or 2 in this game versus Vanderbilt, which is to me what gets Alabama the win. But I think this offense for Vanderbilt is going to be able to move the ball in Tuscaloosa. This is going to be a mentality of bend, don't break mentality for Bama's defense. Can we hold them to field goals rather than touchdowns?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not confident that we can do that at all. So for Bama's offense, I think offensively watching this game, when Bama gets the ball, I think it's going to be easy. I think we can put up 30 points to 40 points. Can we hold them to that is the true question to me. And I think that is the issue. And I think to me, it is going to be, I think we should take the ball in this game. Start on offense. Go down there, be effective, get 3 to 7 points on the board early, and then put the pressure on Vanderbilt. Because if Vanderbilt gets the ball and they get the ball for 5 minutes in the first half in their first possession, that is a nightmare scenario for Bama. The only thing that can help that situation is if Vanderbilt's in a penalty situation where they're 2nd and long, 3rd and long, or if they turn that ball over early in this game where Bama can get up double digits and make Vanderbilt a passing team rather than a true rushing team.
Mm-hmm.
But there is so many question marks I have about this game. I'm going to be locked and loaded. I think Ty Simpson's going to go for like 280, 3 tutties. I think he's going to have a phenomenal offensive performance as long as we're not in a penalty mindset. If we're penalized a lot, I'm going to be throwing stuff around this house. It's not going to be funny. But I think this team, I think I've seen consistent enough throughout these first 4 games, even the Florida State game, that Bama's offense is going to be good in this game. It's going to be something that Vanderbilt has to keep up with. I just don't know if Bama's defense is there. Quay Russo being out is a tremendous hurt for this defense. I've seen Xavier Brown and Damani Jackson look vulnerable on the outside. Damani Jackson gave up a couple big runs against Georgia, and I'm just like, what do you like? Do you understand outside containment? If we have a situation where they're running a zone read and Diego Pavia's outside containment and Damani Jackson gets sucked inside and he's running first, I'm not even saying he's running for 70 yards down the field. 5 yards. First down. Damani Jackson not doing his job. Sam Brown not doing his job on the outside containment. I think Diego Pavia has a chance to have a big game in Tuscaloosa. And I think he is in his right mind talking junk because of who Vanderbilt is, and it's because of him and that coach that Vanderbilt is who he is today. But Lord, I hope you've given me credit for talking great about Vanderbilt since last year's Earle. I'm done with it. Bama has to win this game. Bama has no choice but to win this game. If they have a successful season and Caleb DeBoer want to have a job after the season, he's got to win this game. He's got to right the wrong that was last season down in Vanderbilt. He's got to right that wrong. And I don't even think it was his fault. I think it was Jalen Miller's fault. We truly lost that game. But he's got to write this game. They have got to beat Vanderbilt by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That means the defense has got to get off the field on 3rd downs. They got to walk out this game winning the turnover battle. And they got to walk out this game being dominant in the run game. They got to. It's at this point, like you said, Van, at the 5th game, we have got to have these check marks in our box if we're going to be a real team. Bump all the hype, F all the hype of Vanderbilt. Bama, this is a true gut check test. See if you really about it. You showed a lot in that first half against Georgia. I want to see the same exact thing in the first half against Vandy. And let's get him out of here early. So I got Bama 38-21 in a good victory. But I think in that first quarter, it's going to be a lot of people on the edge of their seats. It's going to be really close. It's going to be really testy to see who is the better overall team and tougher team in this matchup. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting early. I think Bama can pull away late, though. But our group chat, I think there's going to be a lot of quick text messages going there around at 3:30, 4 o'clock. I think a lot of interesting stuff going to go around that time point about this game specifically and about Arch Mother effing Manning about that time of the day on Saturday. He might be a totally different figure in the world by 4:30 on Saturday.
He very well could, man. He very well could. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Great slate of games. And then, like I said, after this week, everything really kind of picks up again with conference play. No more bye weeks for a few weeks for a couple of these teams. We'll see. But like I said, there are teams that have to have wins if they want to continue their journey toward the college football playoff. You got certain coaches that have to have wins this weekend to keep their jobs. So there's a lot going on this week that means a lot for a lot of families and fans and players and institutions or whatever. And I'm here for all of it.
Oh, yeah. And I know this live night was longer than what it usually is for us, but I do, since we are SEC podcast, we went an hour and some change on SEC football. I just want to know, in y'all's two mindset, going back to, let's say 3 months ago, week 6 in the college football playoff, college football season, Clemson versus North Carolina, Bill Belichick versus Dabo Swinney.
Wow.
Do we think this is going to be a non-factor in college football at this point in the season, bro?
It's going to be a complete non-factor, man.
I'm like, that is sad.
It's going to be a complete non-factor. And
we're an SEC podcast. I'll boost up the SEC in this moment. That is sad.
Man, the best thing Bill Belichick got going for him right now is the fact that I think that the talking heads in the SEC, if the SEC expands again, I do believe North Carolina will be one of those teams that gets inclusion into the conference because of academics, not so much football, but academics, basketball, all the other sports. Like they're just like a great institution. But that may be the only reason why Bill Belichick stays relevant in college football is if he gets in the SEC, if the SEC expands again.
Only thing he relevant for in my eyes is kissing his girlfriend on the sideline before the game.
That's it.
That's it. I'm like, man, he got nothing to prove.
He has nothing to prove. Nothing to prove to anybody.
What's up, Trey? Right there dancing. But no, man, that's ridiculous. I literally searching the games for SEC. I peeped that game and I was like, that is this weekend. I was like, it's crazy. I even forgot about that game.
Ain't nobody saying based on what it is. Non-factor. Complete non-factor.
I don't think Clemson goes as far as getting to the point where they put Dabo on the hot seat, but I think he is on the most downward spiral in the NIL era of college football than ever.
Yeah, he is. He
just going down probably about as fast as he be running down that hill.
Man, he's gonna blow something going down that hill. This is gonna be worldwide news. Dabo Swinney tore ACL coming down
running down the hill.
Running down the damn hill, tumbling. You know he's gonna fall. He's gonna be early in the hill too. He's gonna slide down about 30% of that hill after this happened too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, I don't see any positive points about that team, and I think that is terrible.
Yeah.
And you'd hate to think it was coaching. So you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, they ain't not worth my breath at this moment. So
Yeah. Well, all
just
right.
simple, y'all.
Yeah. Well, hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in.
Oh yeah.
Um, we will catch y'all this weekend. We're gonna do a review. We done got the kids that infiltrated the doggone
Oh yeah.
office. So I think they ready for all this to wrap up. But hopefully we'll get back for a review on Sunday, and then we're gonna have recordings for games because just following week 7 is gonna have some good ones
Oh yeah.
lined up. We'll do some personalized videos um for that week. But tune into these games. Keep like I said, you watching the Bama Bandy, which everybody should be. Just just go on your phone and check out the score of that Texas Florida game. Just out the corner of your eye. You don't gotta have it on, but just
Peripheral.
yeah,
Peripheral
just
vision. Use your
out
peripheral
of your
vision
eyes.
and
Don't
watch that
look
stuff.
like, I wonder because I'm telling you either that or it's gonna flash on your screen during the Bama game. You're gonna be like, hold on,
And it's gonna be obvious.
yeah, yeah,
If that's a
yeah,
low scoring Texas game, it's gonna be obvious of what that issue is and why they low scoring.
Yeah.
yeah,
Everybody gonna be like, Arch Manning's gotta go.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
We'll see.
We'll
But
see,
until then,
y'all.
y'all subscribe, hit the like, comment. We'll get with you. So yeah, subscribe. I mean, get them in the bed.
We'll see y'all.